Welcome back to the Global Sunday. And right after I praised technology, technology answered us by freezing our screens. But we are back, and it's remarkable that we have a global audience, a global show. This is our third season. But with technology comes everything that comes with technology, the opportunity and also the inconveniences. So welcome back, everybody.
Yeah.
And where were we?
Well, actually, we were talking about the Super Bowl, and we were talking about the cookout and technology in which it was try the technology was trying to be part of the conversation. So I think that was the response, to what we were saying. But anyways,
Well,
I think it's go for it.
I was going to say one of my kids, and I won't say which one, uh, if we're watching television, standing in front of the television set. If we are going down the stairs, standing at the top of the stairs and getting in a conversation. Technology was being just like that one.
Oh, that's funny. Well, I think okay, so I think let's take a short break and then go to the news. Do you
All
think we
right,
can do that?
sure.
All right, okay. We're gonna welcome back. We're gonna take a short break, very short break, and then we'll go to the news. I know there are people who are who normally joins the show just to see what's going on around the world. So this is a chance for you to be updated. We'll be right back. This is the Global Sunday Show. Yes.
Diverse Global Studios, Africa number one.
Welcome to the Global Sunday News. Today is February 11th, 2024. Reporting for TGSN, I'm Mr. Ludden. We're going to first go to Pakistan today. Polls are closed, but there is uncertainty of the results in Pakistan. Unexpected delays in the counting of votes has caused unrest and accusations of a rigged election. The heating up of the situation has prompted the Pakistani Election Commission to issue a late night warning to polling officers, urging them to promptly release the results, even just 10 hours after the polls closed. The early unofficial results show that independents are in the lead, with the Pakistani Muslim League, NAS, is in second place, followed by the Pakistani People's Party. With no official results yet disclosed, the delay has raised eyebrows, prompting Pakistan media spokesperson Rahas accusing authorities of tampering with the election results, saying that votes have been stolen. Pakistanis were skeptical about the delayed results and the country's national election just one day after voters cast their ballots. 24 hours have passed since the polls closed, and even more now, and the results have been unusually delayed, which the government ascribed to the suspension of mobile phone services, a security measure ahead of the election. Analysts have predicted that there may be no clear winner, adding to the woes of a country struggling to recover from an economic crisis while it grapples with rising militant violence in deeply polarized political environment. And more violence in India. India's northern city of Haldwani was littered with burnt vehicles and debris a day after violence broke out over a demolition drive carried out by local authorities. Officials said the local administration had arrived at an alleged madras, or an Islamic religious school, after giving it prior notice that it would be knocked down. However, mobs started pelting stones at the authorities and burned vehicles to protest against the demolition. Senior Superintendent of Police, Prahlad Meena, said at least 2 people were killed in the violence and 3 other people were critically injured, but stated that the situation was under control. Meena added that around 1,100 security personnel had been deployed to Haldwani, with shops, schools, and markets shut down in the aftermath of the violence. And now we move on. Russian President Vladimir Putin said in a rare interview with scandal-plagued American journalist Tucker Carlson, released last Thursday, that Moscow has no interest in expanding its war in the Ukraine to other countries, though he said he will fight for the country's interests to the end. The interview marked the first time Putin has spoken to an American media outlet since before the invasion of Ukraine nearly 2 years ago. In the interview, Putin questioned why the United States was continuing to fund Kiev's effort, marking it was impossible to inflict strategic defeat on Russia in his typical bravado. Quote, he said, don't you have anything better to do? You have issues on the border, issues with immigration, issues with the national debt, more than $33 trillion. Wouldn't it be better to negotiate with Russia, make an agreement, already understanding the situation that is developing today, realizing that Russia will fight for its interests to the end quote. Putin devoted a large part of the interview to claims that Ukraine had almost agreed to a deal to end hostilities in April of 2022, but that they backed away once Russian troops withdrew from the area near Kiev. Now let them think, Putin continued, how to reverse the situation. We're not against it. It would be funny if it were not so sad. This endless mobilization in Ukraine, the hysteria, the domestic problems, sooner or later it will result in an agreement. Putin also said that Moscow simply has no interest in expanding to anywhere else like Poland or Latvia, which he mentioned by name. When asked about detained US journalist Evan Gershkovich, Putin said, in theory, he could be sent home. Gershkovich has been held in Russia for almost a year, awaiting a trial on spying charges. Putin said Russia and American special services were discussing the reporter's case. The Kremlin said Putin agreed to the Carlson interview because the approach of the former Fox News host differed from the one-sided reporting of the Ukraine conflict by many Western news outlets. He just can't help himself. Onward. And a story we have been covering since a few weeks ago, Taiwan elected a new pro-democracy prime minister. Taiwan's new envoy to the United States accused Beijing of cheating in the computer chip-making race, stealing technology, as he backed Washington's export controls against China. The U.S. had been working with allies to cut off China's access to advanced chips and chip-making tools that could fuel breakthroughs in AI and sophisticated computers for its military. The Taiwanese envoy, Alexander Yu, said the export controls are necessary in dealing with China, known formally as the People's Republic of China, or PRC. He argued that the West's attempt at getting China to follow international rules by letting them join the World Trade Organization didn't work. Despite the export curbs, Chinese chip makers expect to make next-generation smartphone processors as early as this year. But Mr. Yu cast doubt on whether this was viable, saying China had tried for years to reach Taiwan's level of success in the chip-making industry. A spokesperson for the Chinese embassy said the U.S. called Yu's claims ill-intentioned, saying, quote, China's scientific and technological achievements are never made through cheating and stealing. Our development is always built on our own strength. And to start my commentary before the commentary, aren't cheating and stealing some of China's main strengths? When I was younger, much younger, my friends and I used to ask what traits were most important for choosing friends, people to date, and who we would ultimately marry. I always said that they had to be nice to animals, to be good with children, and not become belligerent or easily angry. That is, of course, after the list of superficial things like hot body, good dancer, etc. Many decades later, in 2000, my father died. I had been married, had kids, and was about 50 years old. As the eldest son, I stood at the casket and welcomed many mourners as they filed by. Each hugged me or shook my hand and said a few words in honor of my late father. It was a big group, for my father was well known and well loved. After about 2 hours of people, about halfway through the line, it dawned on me that every single person had mentioned that my father was kind or spoke of his kindness. Now, I didn't want to be without my father in life and would have given anything to bring him back. But of course, that is impossible. And as I kept hearing about his kindness and the kind things he had done for people, I realized that the way I could keep some part of my father in this world was to dedicate myself to kindness. And since that day, kindness has been my primary intention, though I'm still learning how to do that perfectly, as my dad had done in his life. You see, kindness is the trait I had truly referred to in my teen assessment of suitable mates in life, friends or otherwise. In today's world, when someone is kind, it is viewed often as a weakness. Being kind, which comes along with staying cool and just acting with respect and concern for others, that's not manly. Or so they say. But actually, someone who is kind and can remain kind even when provoked is someone who is strong, smart, and will be trusted. A kind person is someone to go to when we are lost, hurt, confused, or reacting to something very strong. And if you are kind, then you will be trusted, relied upon, well loved, and a suitable life mate of any kind, friend, colleague, coworker, spouse, adventure partner, or simply a person in the neighborhood. And so, my friends out there, it is simple. Be kind. I'm Ken Ludden, and thank you for watching TGSN. Now we'll return to our program.
Number one.
Well, welcome back to the Global Sunday Show. Thank you so much, Mr. Ladin, for the news. As you all heard, be kind. Well, it's really interesting because one of the meanings for my name, Lungani, means be kind. I could also mean be prepared or prepare. So that's really interesting that you shared something like that, and you know.
It's always about you, son.
Yay. Well, with that said, we are going to go straight to Learn Zulu. Yeah, I think we're on time. We're gonna go straight to Learn Zulu. Remember, um, drop the word below. If you see a word that think you can type, just exercise, typing it down and exercise saying it. When you see me, you know, don't be shy to use those words. Okay, so let's go to Learn Zulu quickly, and then we'll be right back. All right, welcome to Learn Zulu with Lungoni Sawubona, 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 Sawubona. Just to catch up, previously we did our first lesson, which was Sawubona. That means hello, Sawubona. That's how you spell it. And it's a word that you can use when you're seeing the person for the first time, like hello, like the normal hello. It doesn't matter. It can be in the evening, it can be in the morning, it can be in the afternoon. You just say Sawubona, as long as you are seeing that person for the first time in that day. Okay, and then also we learned Unjani, and I did explain that Unjani is a response. When you say Sawubona, you're asking a person hello, and then if they say hello back to you, then if you want to continue with your conversation, you can say Unjani, which means how are you? Unjani. This is how you spell it correctly, so you don't sound like you're trying to do something that you don't know. So yeah, this is how you spell it. Unjani. And as you can see, there's double e, so it's like ni. It stays longer or it goes longer. Okay, and then we learned ngiyaphila. If somebody asks you unjani, if they ask you how are you in Zulu, you say ngiyaphila means I'm fine or I am alive. Okay, and this is how you spell it, ngiyaphila. This is how you pronounce it, ngiyaphila. Okay, and then we also learned kuluma, which is speak. That just explains itself. And how you say it, kuluma, kuluma. Yeah, if you need help with that, don't hesitate to hit me with a DM or inbox. I will definitely help you out. But today, we are going to learn a very interesting word, which is love, utando. It's really interesting because we are in the month of February, and it's, well, I don't know if it's a love month or we have a love week in that month, but I know we have Valentine's coming next week. So I thought it was really, you know, wise to teach something that relates to love. Okay, so utando means love, how you spell it or how you pronounce it. Utando, as you can see, like I'm trying to put words together for you so you can be able to pronounce it correctly. So please do try, send me like a voice note saying utando, and I'll respond and tell you if you said it correctly or what. So when you see somebody there, just say utando. I know when you're saying it, when you say it to somebody and trying to say maybe I love you, it's a different story. It's a different thing. But you know, just to say utando means love, and that's a kind thing to say to somebody. It's different if you want to say I love you. And if you want to know how to say I love you in Zulu, drop me a comment or send me an inbox. I will teach you. I'll send you a voice note and I'll send you how you write it down. So you can go around and say, I love you. I love you to all the people out there next week on the 14th. I don't even know. I don't know. Is it the 13th or the 14th? Somewhere there. I don't know. I'm not very big with Valentine's, but maybe that's going to change eventually. I don't know. Yeah, thank you so much for tuning in. Please do tune in next week, same place, same time. Again, as I always say, if you have questions, don't hesitate to ask me. IsiZulu is one of the most popular languages in Africa. Yep, you're right. If you know IsiZulu, you are connected to a whole lot of other different languages that are from Africa. So let's go. Let's go. All right, that's it for today. I will see you next week. Let's go back to our program with Mr. Laden. Mr. Laden, did you learn anything today?
Yes, I did. I learned that, well, of course, I can't say the word for love,
Yeah.
but I will learn it. I will learn it. I will definitely learn it.
Right. Well,
Johnny,
do you want me to put it up for you? Let me put it up for you so you can see.
let me see it again. It's utando. Uta- is it do or do? Ut, utandu?
Okay, so look at the pronunciation below so we can confirm if what I'm trying to do works for other people at home. Try to use the the help that
Right.
is supplied below. Yeah.
The R, the way you pronounce like the center syllable, ta,
Mm-hmm.
um, the what you've written is tar.
Right.
So it'd be more like TAH, ta. So utando
There you go.
or do or do.
So door, cause that's door with an N.
Right.
Right. So it's exactly how you spell door, but then you add an N. So it's on here on your
Utando. Okay.
esophagus or something like that. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Utando.
But great job. That's good. So that makes me happy because it shows that it works. It helps. So good. Good, absolutely. Utando.
Of course
Yeah,
it would.
yeah. So yeah, that's all I have for today. Maybe we can just wrap up the show. Yeah, we on time. We can just wrap up the show. And what do you know about Valentine's? Okay, so it's really interesting because in Africa, when I spoke to one of the most of the elders from Africa, and they telling me the history of Valentine's. It's a very weird, completely like something that you wouldn't think of, you know. But what's your take, and what do you understand about Valentine's? Actually, this is Valentine's we're
Well,
talking about.
I would say that everything I understood about Valentine from all of my life um, changed about 10 months ago. But I'll talk about what I understood before. One of the things in my lifetime, because I'm old, is that the Valentine's Day, Mother's Day, and Father's Day were promoted in America by the Hallmark Card Company. Um, and then they joined forces with a major florist and with a um, diamond conglomerate, Zaire Diamonds, out of Africa. In I can't remember the name. They changed the name of the country. I don't remember the old one or the new one. At any rate, and it was a big marketing thing. Now, Saint Valentine, I'm not clear on exactly who Saint Valentine was, but apparently it had something to do with being in love. And it is a celebration of personal love, although my Valentines I got um, when my kids were little, I would always get Valentines from the girls and the boys. But but that was something that they did at school. You know what I mean? They do a project and all of that kind of thing. Valentine's Day, though, is an opportunity, particularly in today's world. You know, there's a lot of stuff on social media, a lot of photoshopped, airbrushed life. Everybody, you know, they find that when somebody does a lot of social media, they start to get really depressed because everything they're seeing is this idealized, beautified, you know, view of another person's life. And what I always tell people is, you know, that you cannot compare your insides to somebody else's outsides. That if you do that, you're going to miss the boat.
Mm.
Um, and so that's an unfortunate thing. So there's a lot of I love you. Look at me and my favorite person eating food or going on a bike ride, or you know, people are always promoting this idealized thing. And Valentine's Day, you've got an opportunity. You've got an opportunity to say something very personal, very meaningful, and very direct
Mm.
that's not for the general public, that's for a person. And now there are many, many kinds of love. In the Hungarian language, there are 47 verbs, infinitive verbs that mean to love. And the love of a grandmother to a grandson, an uncle to a nephew, a father to a daughter, you know, and also among lovers. So there's all kinds of love. One of I talked about my father and his death in the commentary on the news today. I'm old, and I learned from his death and the death of a couple other people, if you love somebody, utando, say it, say it. And on Valentine's Day, say it in some way that is memorable, something that they can keep, something that they can physically have. Because the way that life works, the most precious thing is love. As they say, love is God's sword and it can conquer anything. Love of friends, love of your pets, love of your country, love of your special love. Say it, Make it real. Love is not a sentiment. Love is an action. It's just like faith. Faith isn't just some way you feel. Faith, when somebody has faith is because they do things that are the right things, even when it might be frowned upon, because they have faith that it's right. They have faith that it's the good thing. Same thing with love. Show your love. Live your love. Love is supposed to be transformational,
Yeah.
not transactional.
Right.
Okay, so that's what I have to say about Valentine's Day.
Right. Right. Yeah, I think it's such a beautiful um you know day to celebrate, and it's such a beautiful reminder as well for people, because I think one of the things that we have as human beings, we need to be constantly reminded things. There are things that we know that we know those things, we are aware of them, but we need to be constantly reminded that there is something like this. There's something there to celebrate. All these lovely holidays and special days and weeks and months that we celebrate reminds people that this is where we come from, this is where we are. Don't forget this. you know Although we're here, don't forget that we've been there. All those kind of things. I mean, um last month, I know we were, was it this month, Black History Month?
February, Black History
February.
Month.
So what are we on now? Is it March? We're still on
In
February, right?
February,
Yeah, we're still on
February
February. So it's, yeah,
11th.
right. So things like those, they are reminder. So as human beings, um, most of the time we need to be reminded these things, like you were saying, reminding people that you love them. I think it's great, and I'm happy that I know some of the holidays and the celebrations that we have, they have, some of them have really dark history, but we try to change them into something that is positive. People, something that people can look forward to, something that can create peace and love, and things like that. And I know that from what I heard is, when men were away, they would be away from their partners, or when people were away from their partners, they would go, I would call it hustle, just to not be specific on what they were going to do, if it was war or work or whatever. But when they come back to see their partners, they would bring roses, because they hadn't had a bath for, like, several weeks. So I think roses, get rid of the smell. So they would put roses in between them, so that the other partner wouldn't, smell the the terrible, terrible, you know, strong hard work that one has been doing over the past couple of weeks or months. So that's really cool. It's really cool that it has turned into something that everyone can celebrate. But I think also it's nice to, kind of like put the history out there, so that people can celebrate knowing actually what they're celebrating, because that's a reminder that we are fortunate that we can shower every day, sometimes every day. So people were not fortunate enough to have that access, um m- you know some years ago. So that's really interesting, that's really cool. That's really cool. Oh, well, so yeah, utando, Valentine's. And then, so do you celebrate Valentine's, or I know a lot of people would say, "Oh yeah, for me every day is Valentine's Day," which is, it is okay, it's good. But like I said, if you are a person that has a lot of things in their minds, and they have a lot of things in their plate, they completely forget things like these, and then they'll remember when there are special days like Valentine's Day. Then they will probably make a day off and be like, "Oh, kids, if it's kids, or if it's friends, or if it's a partner." They'll be like, "Oh yeah, can I take you somewhere for Valentine's?" It's like all these things, like Father's Day. I think there should be also Children's Day. I don't know. Like specifically Children's Day, like not like children, like toddlers, like babies day, where that will also force parents. I'm not gonna say father because there's a stereotype that fathers run away from their kids and all that thing. I don't want to be part of that because I don't know how true that is, and I don't know. I can't support that statistic. So that would remind the parents, even if when they're separated, it would remind the other parent that is away from a child or from a baby to go and say happy baby's day or do something for the baby. So I think I really respect these kind of holidays because they're a reminder to us. They push us to do something that we almost forget to do in our lives.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, do I celebrate Valentine's Day? No, not usually. I mean, with you kids, I do. And all of that. There were times in my life, there was a period that I was married for a long time. And then if I didn't do the right thing and get the right gift and do it at the right time in the right way, there was a bit of a penalty.
Mm.
Uh, but but no,
Okay. Yeah.
but I will finish answering that question in our final comments today.
Okay. Okay. Sounds good. And I think that's a really good point that sometimes other people they get into it, that like too much into it, and they feel like the word is not deserve or earn, or um they feel like somebody should or they supposed to do that, even if when they don't want to. And then they'll start forcing people to do something like, oh yeah, it's my birthday, where's my gift, it's Valentine's, why aren't you taking me out? So most of the time people they get into it, they get too much into it, and they get stuck in the fact that they seeing what's happening around them, and they're trying to fit in. um Please, people, yes, it is Valentine's next week, but stop forcing people to do something that they're not prepared for, or they don't celebrate, or etc. For whatever reason. If they don't want to do it, they don't want to do it. So stop forcing people to do something that they don't want.
I think also in that sort of equation, um, people are so binary now.
Yeah.
They if somebody doesn't do the thing they want them to do to show their love, then that means they don't love them. That's
Mm,
ridiculous.
mm,
That is absolutely ridiculous. Each one of us, one of the greatest demonstrations of love in my life
mm,
was one of my daughters, one of her sisters, was going on her first date of her whole life. She was a young teen, and it was a dance, and there was a boy that was going to pick her up, and they were going to go to a dance, and we spent at least 3 weeks in advance going and trying on outfits and deciding hairstyle. Oh my goodness, it was quite something. And then the day came. I didn't know which outfit my daughter had chosen um, to wear. She was up in her room, and this young man came, and of course they were like 14 years old, and he had his parent waiting in the car to drive them, and he was terrified, and it was very awkward. And he's standing there talking to me, and of course, a young man coming and meeting the father of a young girl can be a challenging thing. Um, and so I kept yelling up the stairs, come on, hurry up, it's ready, you're going to be late, and all that stuff, and nothing, nothing, nothing. Shut up, don't bother me, came down as a response. And then all of a sudden, and me and this poor kid, he's standing there, and I didn't know what to do or say, and And all of a sudden, my daughter comes running down the stairs, grabs him by the hand, opens the door, runs out the door, slams the door shut. And as she's running down the stairs, she says, "I don't care what you think of this outfit," to me. And I was like, what? But my approval meant so much to her. If I had had any look in my eye at all of surprise or judgment about the way she looked, it would have crushed her. And that's
Mm.
one of the biggest demonstrations of love I've ever received.
Mm.
That my opinion was so valuable and so much weighed on it that she didn't want to risk, her insecurities didn't want to risk even me seeing what she was going to wear. And of course, she's my daughter. She's beautiful no matter what she wears. But that's a demonstration of love. And you have to understand that people do it in the way they do it. And another thing is, I'm going to say this, and this is going to be unpopular, but if you love someone, love them. Love the essence of the person, not their behavior, not their position, not their money, not their contacts, not what they might become. When you love someone and when you're combining your life with them, you're not taking on ownership of something. It's not a trophy. It's not something that you're going to show off to the world. It's a person. And if you're going to commit in love to a person to share life together, love that person, not their actions, not the external things, not their behaviors. You have to love, they say unconditional love. That means without condition. You love that person no matter what. In every mood, every challenge, every cheering session, every good time and bad time. That's love. And that is love that is shown by completely accepting. And if they have bad behavior, if they get angry, if they get frustrated, you don't stop loving them. You help them. If something's making them angry, find out what it is. Do something about it if you can. And if you can't, just give them a hug. We get angry. We're humans. If they're frustrated, find out what's frustrating them and help if you can. And if you can't, help them find somebody who can help. And if none of that works, just help them through that moment. That is love. Okay. And so I'll just leave it with that and until we do our final comments.
Right. All right. Yeah. Okay. So we have 5 minutes before we end the show. Yeah. I just want to say thank you to all the people out there who are constantly staying with the show and watching the show every week. We really appreciate you. We acknowledge you. And then also, oh yeah. So again, yesterday, friends of mine, they from not only African friends, but from around the world in different places. They came to surprise me with traditional dishes as well, which was really fantastic. Shout out to them. There's many of them. We call ourselves Global Connection. So yeah, shout out to all of you. Really appreciate you. It was really fun to have you all around here at home. So yeah. But yeah, let's say our final words for today. I think it has been a really fantastic show today. But yeah, in closing, what are your last words? Just a minute, to share your last words of today. As people are starting a new week, and the week that we show is that we refer as the week of love. I know you have shared so many things which are really amazing. Yeah, for a person who's watching right now, what are your last words for today's show? Boom.
Okay. When I was 18 months old, I appeared on television. sitting on the lap of Leonard Bernstein in the first Tiny Tots concert. When I was 5, I had my first professional contract. I was an extra on several television shows that were on CBS. By the time I was 14, I was traveling internationally. I had a very, very big international career as a ballet dancer. I have sung opera. I've sung in church. I have sung popular songs. I've done stage shows. All of my life, I've been in the public eye. I did an interview once. I was somewhere as a guest artist in some company, and I was wearing a tie tack that was a fake diamond. The interview focused on the tie tack, assuming it was a real diamond, guessing how many carats it was, guessing, one time my daughter had to go to a swim meet and she had a ring that she didn't want to lose in the pool. So I put it on my little finger to keep it for her. I did another interview. It was all about the ring on my finger. What did it mean? Who was the person? What? All right. I have always maintained a very, very strict respect for privacy. But I want to say something here, not private. I mean, it is private, but not in private. And that is that August 28th, my life changed dramatically. And I do this year have a very special Valentine who is watching this show. And so my last word is Happy Valentine's Day. I love you. No questions.
No questions. No questions. Fantastic. Fantastic. Well, as you know, they always say nobody talks after Mr. Laden. Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much for watching the Global Sunday Show.
No.
Wait.
Our last word, Langani. Nobody talks after Mr. Ludden. I do not accept that.
No. I think that was brilliant. I mean, sharing, expressing yourself about love is one of the most beautiful things. So I wouldn't want to interrupt something like that. I think you well said. Well said. I think it's something that people can digest from home, and it can be a reminder for them too that we all deserve love, and we all are loved by somebody out there. It's just a matter of finding that love. And you don't expect to find the love if you are not seeking the love, and you just staying at home. And I mean, it's not that you're not gonna find it. You might find it, but you have more chances to find it if you go out there and seek love, meet people, show them who you are. There's a thing that we do in Africa. When you meet a person for the first time, you do your cleanse. We call them cleanse. You talk about your history, right? There's a short version of it, there's a long version of it, there's like a longer version of it, where you like say it's like how I normally do, like you talk about yourself and mention almost all the things that you have done, like the major events that you have done in your life, whether they are good, whether they are bad, whether even if they're embarrassing. You mention those things, and this helps it helps a person that you just recently met to understand who you are, where you come from. It might not be who you currently are right now, but it creates that understanding so that you can easily communicate, because a lot of us get offended by a lot of different things. But if you know where that person has been, I mean, for instance, I once met a lady who was a stripper before, and I played my favorite song, "I'm in Love with a Stripper," which is a song that I grew up listening to when I was young. You know, when you listen to a song and you're young and you don't even know what it means, and you sing the song along, and it gets stuck with you, and as you grow. So I was like, "Oh, I know this song." I played the song, and then all of a sudden, this lady is upset with me. It's like, just because I was a stripper before doesn't mean that blah blah blah. I'm like, what? I didn't even know you were a stripper, you know? So so yeah, it is really, really important for us to go out there and introduce ourselves to people and let them know our history so that they can know how to approach us without offending us, you know. And that's how it's even normally done with at least the people that I worked with in South Africa. You know, before you can get into any friendship, any business relationship, no matter what kind of a relationship it is, we talk about our histories first. Talk about our history, you know, we get to know each other, and you know, then we get to whatever relationship that we are trying to pursue, knowing where we come from. So it's just really interesting. That's why we have poems that they do, and most of them are about kings. They would say all the bad things that the kings did and the good things that the kings did with respect, you know. So yeah, I think it's fantastic. Go out there, meet people, fall in love, let people understand who you are, so that you can easily communicate with people without being offended, without being scared, without being hesitant, you know. I think it's really amazing, it's interesting. Those are my last words for today.
Oh,
Ay,
thank you.
sikhuluma nawo abantu batshenga kanjani lo ngani kulo mfana kashokolate. This is the Global Sunday Show. Unfortunately, we have come to the end of the show. Please do tune in next week, Sunday, 11:30 a.m. for a US Pacific time. And if you are in South Africa, it's 8:30 p.m. All right. Drop those comments. Let us know what you think about today's show. If you have any questions, you have any comments, or if you relate to the conversations that we had, please do share with us. From me, Lungani Kwala, thank you so much. Have a lovely weekend. Enjoy Super Bowl and enjoy the love week. What is it? Valentine's, the love week. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Mr. Laden, we can say bye to everyone who's watching from home.
Love you.
What is that sign for? What does that mean?
I love, okay,
Uh-huh.
you. So you put them all
Ooh.
together and it means I love you.
Wow, I knew that meant something.
Sign language, it means I love you.
Mm. And this is like a devil sign in the music industry. I hear, like, cause something like, wait, what am I doing?
Oh,
Hold on a
no,
second.
it's
Ah,
not the middle one.
before I break my fingers, yeah, but it's like the devil things, you know. Anyways.
There's this, which is a sign in some areas of the Middle East.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and then there's that, which
That
that's
looks
a
like I won't say it, but that looks like a crippled person.
that's a gang sign. But it's for a gang of dancers. It's three fingers.
Yeah.
And it's like dance companies will do that when they.
Ooh,
But anyway,
talking about that, I have
I
received I received some of my photos. I'm gonna be sharing my photos. I can't wait. Well, anyways, yeah, I'm gonna be posting my photos, my dance photos, in like a couple of hours today, and I am so excited. Shout out to Manny, my photographer. All
yeah,
right,
money's great. All right,
yeah. All right,
all
all
right.
right, all right. Bye bye, everyone. Bye bye, bye bye, bye bye, bye bye.